Live from Shenanigans, this is Bobcat Insider on Concho Sports Network. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm Darren Prater. Here we have Coach Mark Smith is along with us. Coach
Darren,
Smith.
hello.
Well, let's go ahead and get into some highlights from the game against Amarillo. We came out on the short end of it, 41-21, and we fell to Abilene in week one, but there were some good spots in both games, a few mistakes that if we overcome them, I think we may be a sleeping giant.
Yeah, I think that, that's probably the most important thing is, I truly believe, in order to be as successful as you can be, you need to embrace, the moments that don't go your way, embrace the pain. I think that if you do that and you have the right mindset about it, that's where growth happens, and we play good people and put ourselves in position to play state-ranked teams, so we do, recognize those things. And I mentioned before, you either schedule for comfort or you schedule for challenge, and we certainly have scheduled for challenge, and the point is to be playing your best ball when the district schedule gets here. And, the last two opponents certainly have proven to be challenges for us and are going to help us get where we want to go.
Well, let's look at the highlights from the Amarillo game. It didn't take them long to score, unfortunately, but the defense did pick things up after that first possession. Here's Micah.
Can we run these back, or is it just going to roll on us here, Shay?
It looks like, we'll see.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Shay
that was a heck of a leap, even though he was already out of bounds.
Yeah.
That's a heck of an effort.
Yeah, let's start from the beginning, if you don't mind, please.
You want to start these over?
Yeah,
We're going a little fast.
Let's roll.
Yeah.
Here we go. Opening kickoff.
Holbert.
Caleb got a hold of this one. The wind was at our back just a bit right there. Put it halfway deep in the end zone. Very good.
Love to see that.
Yep. I just asked him, where do you want it? He said, I want to go right in the middle. There it is. Okay, so
Jude Donovan.
we were in a 3 under 3 deep, 6-man hit, and we just kind of bailed into coverage a little soon, and then weren't able to kind of be in our fits where we needed to be, and that's just, something that is frustrating, as a coach. So let them go down and score on the opening possession. Had a good schemed-up play right here with the way they aligned and put trips to the field and then run that back. We needed to sustain our blocks a little bit longer. Here we go. They this is formation into the boundary, what we call FIB, and they like to do that quite a bit. Got a nice stop there on the run game. Here's Micah. Taking off on third down. Great effort. Just stepped out just a bit. He did that at Abilene High as well and got us a first down.
Part of the thing that I like to highlight there is not only just like that leap, but it's also just him stepping up the way he did in that play. It takes a lot for, at least in my opinion, of course, I am just merely a fan, of course, for football. But from what I've seen, it takes a lot to be able to step up. It takes a lot to be able to step up in the pocket like that when it's collapsing at the edges there.
It's called climbing the pocket. And, when you're at the top of your drop and then, the edges get shortened right there, quarterbacks have to sidestep, climb the pocket, escape certain ways. And he gets outside, gives great effort there. Came up a little short from the first down. Mason Van Sickle, a good, block destruction and making a play there on it. They're motioning to formation in the boundary here again. Really putting quads into the boundary with the back and running counter back to the field. Mason doing a good job reading his pullers. Needed to sustain that tackle there, and it created a 4th and short. Here they are. Really proud of the way we stood up to this right here. And, that says, that's some strength right there. That's a lot of weight.
That's
moving
weight
around,
room right there. That is some weight room.
in there, and really good to knock back, on the line of scrimmage there and get a 4th down stop.
Now, talk to me about that. So, obviously, we saw in the NFL, of course, the Eagles running it a lot in the tush push. Other teams kind of have their own variety with it. When it came to, was this part of the game plan y'all had studied? Was this like we got prepared for something like this? Was like, hey, in the off chance we see this, here's how we're going to counter it.
We had not seen this from them before, but this is a play that you work on a regular basis. You're probably going to get it with each opponent that you play. So, you get down in 4-point stances with your defensive tackles in there, and you got to have great pad level and leverage to stay underneath the offensive lineman here, and then great strength in order to knock them back when they got the 2 running backs pushing behind the quarterback as well in that play. Really, really proud of our guys there.
2 weeks in a row, you've stopped a team up the middle on 4th down.
That's right. Here we go. We're emptying the backfield here. It gets their linebackers to move, and did a good job there on a quarterback run play coming out of that after manipulating the backers there in the box.
Micah?
Yeah, finds Gavin Johnson over the middle right there, and that just set up a little simple motion from left to right, and it created some confusion in the DBs, and are they going to stay with their man or pass off who they had? And one thought one thing and the other thought something else, and then it's touchdown Bobcat. So good job by Micah recognizing it, seeing it, and just kind of laying it up there so Gavin could run under it.
Gavin's first touchdown reception of the season. Micah's
first
touchdown throw of the season as a Bobcat.
It's a great play. Yeah, great play there. Well designed. Little short motion can cause issues for defensive backs that way, and that certainly did there.
That was junior to junior. Got some great underclassmen.
Good recognition on the screen right here. Reading that, it's a long ways for linemen to get out there and do that. We got to just beat the lineman to the screen. Great recognition right there from it. Good pulling the trigger and then finishing
Noah
with
Rogers.
the tackle there.
That was Noah Rogers. Great job.
Yep, Noah's very instinctive, has a lot of quickness and suddenness to his game. Here we are there in a condensed formation right here. Sprint out, good job, putting kind of the umbrella coverage over the top of it. That's what a lot of teams do. We did in that circumstance in the condensed formation. This one here, just super frustrating. Third down, third and long, and give them a little window in there to throw this ball. That was that was disappointing. Third down was a problem for us, defensively in the night. Micah, good job here.
Colton Hill, nice catch.
If you run that one back, that's a slot fade. That's a fade by the inside receiver, matched up on a nickel. Sometimes you get a better matchup in there when teams play man coverage, and Micah did a good job of finding him, and here's Colton again, on another slot fade from the inside. He ended up catching 3 balls out of this particular look. It's 2 on each side of the field. Good contested catch there. Here's another one for a touchdown. Now we're going formation into the boundary, slot fade, back corner of the end zone to the pylon. Great job by getting his feet in, touching them down. Really good, really good play.
On that drive that he managed to stay in bounds.
That's hard to do. And he's great body control. Micah stands in there. This is an RPO. We're blocking run, as you can see. And that way we got a defender on the edge who's unblocked, who's coming right there in Micah's face. He's got to get rid of the ball in a timely manner and put it in a position where only Colton can catch it.
He did stand tall. Then they bust another big play.
This is right at the end of the half. It's just so, just mind-boggling, that we got to eliminate those kind of mistakes in that situation, and I know that we will. That's frustrating.
Yeah, it's for sure. Just on the seam and everything about it right before the half.
But you're playing an elite duo in Jet, Lopez, and Parsons. That's an elite duo we had to deal with.
Yeah, really good. We're going to play good people. I mean, that's give them credit, yes. But, we're going to play good people all year. We got to be able to make plays. Here we are. They're in 11 personnel right now. Max Pro here. They keep 7 guys in the protection. We just don't slide our feet and go, and there's no post safety with this particular call, so we got to be in front, catch the receiver a little bit better there, kind of avoid some of these walk-offs that they had. Here we go. Really good by Jimmy here, the suddenness of a nice move right there when a person is in position to make a tackle. Jimmy does a great job of, kind of giving him a little move here and shake him and get him to squat and break down his feet. Then he can accelerate right there. Just one tackle away from running that one all the way. Really good reception and run after the catch for Jimmy.
Micah, notice the patience that he finds Garcia.
Yeah, we were looking.
Gavin Johnson.
We were looking to kind of throw this ball over the middle of the field here, out of the backfield, and then it was covered well. Okay, covered well. So Micah improvises. Really good job, stepping up in the pocket, like we discussed, and then finding an open receiver for a nice gain to get us down a little bit closer. Here we go. We motion the tight end out. They've had a little trouble getting aligned to that. Guys late getting over. We throw the smoke route now to Gabriel Garcia, who gets it in the end zone. If you see that at the beginning, they were misaligned, trying to get the outside backer over there a little bit late, and he's just a little bit late. Good job by Micah recognizing that, getting the ball to Baby G, as they call him.
Baby G.
Yeah.
Baby G.
He
And,
fought for that touchdown,
What a
too.
name.
And he puts it in the end zone, yeah. Baby G, Gabriel Garcia. Great young
first
man. That's a
touchdown
great
of the
catch.
season.
Yeah, great job. It's a good drive. That was a nice drive. Here we go. They go sprint out. Mason does a great job of getting in the face of the quarterback here, forcing a bad throw.
Blaine Belcher.
Blaine Belcher runs underneath it. Outruns several of their linemen, gets to the outside and gets the ball close to midfield. Great play right there.
All 150 pounds
Yeah.
of
I'm
him
about to
got
say,
picked
I
up.
certainly,
Dripping wet.
I certainly hope that he can outrun the lineman right there on
Yeah,
that one.
dripping wet. Yeah,
Hey,
great
he
job.
was a silent assassin in week 1, too. He was all over the place.
He was. Blaine does a good job, for us. Instinctive, skilled player.
Darius
Good
Hewitt.
tough run right there. Not every run's going to be just, unblocked and you're running. You got to kind of run through tackles and go. And Darius did a good job right there of, getting a nice gain.
With Xavion Johnson injured and out last Friday, Darius took over the brunt of the running game for the Bobcats.
Yeah, he did. This is good protection right here. I see, Micah with a clean pocket right here to throw this ball. And, is that Jimmy who came down with
That's
that?
the catch that they said wasn't a catch, but it was. Here we go.
All right, over the middle. We're going to slow
got
this
a
down
nice
here
down.
so just to show that it's a catch.
Ball kind of thrown right over.
Yeah.
Right over the underneath defender.
He rolled on it, but he had possession of the ball.
That one there I thought was a catch right there with Jimmy in the end zone. Didn't get called. And,
That's two.
That's how it goes sometimes there. But great, some good highlights there from the game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and some numbers, at least offensively, right? Obviously, Micah, 19 of 34, 226 yards and 3 touchdowns. As mentioned already, his first 3 of the year passing. Also got 7 yards on the ground rushing. Your leading rusher, according to this, Darius Hewitt, 14 of 38 for as long as being 8 yards, only 2.7 to carry, but he did get a lot from Elijah Allen, 8 of 34. And then your leading receiver by far, Colton Hill, 9 receptions, 105 yards, and a touchdown with Gavin Johnson and Baby G, Gabriel
right.
Garcia with the touchdown of his own as well.
Hey, Coach, let's talk about, and I have gotten clearance from the government. The men in black are not going to get us, but the first week there was someone who his name was classified because he may be a cyborg, and he wore 51. We called him Area 51 because he was a complete secret. And Area 51.
Who was it?
Sandoval.
Oh, Sandy.
Brian Sandoval,
Yep.
a sophomore. And I'll tell you what, he is pushing people around out there.
He's
done
a
great
load,
job.
yeah. He's one that plays with great pad leverage. He's been a problem, for us. The guys going against him all year. He's got great strength, great power, and a good low center of gravity. Heavy-handed guy. I like defensive linemen and offensive linemen with heavy hands. He certainly has those. And he's playing both sides of the ball. He's doing a really good job with that. But, yes, he switched numbers, got into 51, had to have an
Area
offensive
51.
lineman number as well. So, yeah.
What
we
was
had
he
a couple
previously?
Of those guys. I think
He was
in
50.
He was 50 before.
50
yeah.
to
Became the
51.
secret Area 51, but the secret is out now.
Well, I remember now. Okay, I know what happened. You remember the game against one of our games at Midland. I don't remember if it was Lee or High, probably Midland High. He was injured, and they had to cut his jersey off of him.
Oh,
So, they cut the 50 jersey off of him. So we only have it in the home color. We didn't have it anymore in the visiting color. So, yeah, that one kind of couldn't be repaired. That thing got cut all the way up the middle, and sometimes that's how they do it when you have an injury
Frustrating.
to
Let's
get
talk
those
about
pads off of them.
The sack. 2 different quarterbacks got sacked in week 1. I want to review both games a little bit. Tyson Mitchell.
Yep.
Great
Sophomore,
job.
really good player. A guy that's got tremendous length and an upsides to him. He plays with a tremendous motor. He's got good speed to power off the edge. He's a big physical defensive lineman, but he also has the suddenness and the quickness to get home to the quarterback. So that's a unique combination of skills that's required to rush the passer. You got to be big and bad enough to fit the run and do the job you need to there, but he can quickly turn, speed to power on those moves on offensive tackles and get home.
Speaking of speed, Riley Onez moves pretty darn quick for a big guy, and he got a sack in week 1 as well.
Yeah, also a guy with some really good suddenness as well, heavy-handed as well. Guy does a good job with his technique. Riley, takes a lot of pride in playing, in a technical way on the defensive line. And footwork, hand placement, all those things matter. Knowing, what you need to do and how an offensive lineman is going, to try to block you and then use that against him. Riley does a good job of studying that and positioning himself for success.
And these kids are young. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking. Riley's a senior, but
Riley's a
he's
junior. Tyson's a sophomore. Yeah.
Hey, that means more time. More time for those players to develop and make themselves into more than what they are now, which is proving that they've already been a good bit here.
I think that, every player, I talked to the team about, everybody on the team, it's a reasonable expectation for me to assume that you're going to constantly improve. Wherever you were last week is not good enough this week. We need everybody better. Mistakes that you made a week ago are no longer acceptable this week. We need guys that are constantly on the rise, and whether that's in their knowledge of their position, it's in the care that they give to their body, whatever that may be, constantly on the rise. And I think we have a group that has the mindset to do just that. This is a game that requires a really strong, mentally tough player. When things don't go your well and you lose a game or two games, you have to be mentally tough to be able to say, I'm going to learn from this and what happened and be better because of it. Embrace the failure, embrace the things that happened, and then learn from those things. And mentally tough players do that. And human nature will quickly try to drag you into, oh man, feel sorry for yourself or whatever the case may be. But we have to guard against that. And I got a group of mentally tough guys that are doing a good job attacking their work and the things that they do on a daily basis to position ourselves for success this week.
And nobody is discouraged on this team because I believe the forward motion is there. And we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get to talk about the team you may have heard of before.
That's right.
High school. Quick break. We'll be back after this. It's Shenanigans for Bobcats Insider. Stick around.
Check out why First Community Federal Credit Union is the #1 local auto lender in the Concho Valley.
With great low rates on new, used, and refinance autos, we can save you money. First Community has great payment options and low prices for GAP, extended warranty, and credit life insurance, so we can make your payment fit your budget. So be smart, bank smart, and contact First Community for your auto financing needs.
Pain is never planned, and recovery time is never convenient. But the last thing you want to do is wait for answers. At Angelo MRI, you are more than a number. We can get you results within 24 hours at a price you can afford. So when you need to get back into the game fast, tell your doctor you want to go to Angelo MRI. We hope you don't need us this season. But in case you do, remember, it's your health, your choice, your MRI.
At Schertz Landscape, we care about the quality of trees that you put in your landscape. Therefore, we grow our trees here locally in the Concho Valley. As a certified arborist, I not only care about the quality of your tree being planted, but I am also qualified as a tree risk assessor. I can evaluate the health of an older tree or the risk that it may have to you and your property. Come see us at Schertz Landscape, where we care about the quality of your trees.
Friendship being
San Angelo, it's time to invest in your home and protect your future. Olivas Restoration and Solar, your trusted partner in roofing, solar, insulation, and fencing. Call Olivas Restoration and Solar today for your free consultation.
At Texas Bank, we believe in...
Welcome back to Shenanigans. This is Bobcats Insider. Thank you for joining us. Coach Mark Smith is with us. I believe we have a player and his dad out in the
Braxton Webb
audience.
is out in the
Braxton
audience
Webb.
in here, a great player here at San Angelo Central, offensive lineman. We recruited Braxton. I was coaching at SMU at the time, and we recruited Braxton. He came and played for us there and just built a special bond with he and his family. His mom and dad would come to every game. They had a they had an RV they would bring to the games and park out there, and just an amazing family, really, really good people. I just am blessed to have gotten to know them. And then, of course, when we got here to San Angelo, some of the first people that reached out to us, like, hey, Coach, you're here in San Angelo. And I was glad to know that they're here. Just amazing people, and I just appreciate them so much. And it's great, great to be here and to see them here tonight.
Also, a former ASU Ram right there.
That's right.
Yeah, former ASU Ram, 2021 All-LSC second-team offense.
Yep.
That's
right.
big part of anchoring that O-line in the early 2020s. So
that's right. I forgot he left SMU after graduating there, had one more year of eligibility, came back home.
Home to play for the Rams.
Yeah. And now he works out a lot of our guys. He does a great job, has a little training, and works out, offensive and defensive linemen, and has done a great job.
Hey, you know what? Who I don't think there's nobody better than him right there.
Listen,
to be able to
he can still go block him right now. I'm looking at him right now. He's still got it.
Yeah.
He's still got it.
If they extended eligibility like they are in college game right now, you'd be able to have him.
Hey, I want to mention Colton Kent got a sack Friday. I didn't want to leave.
Colton Kent got one. That's great. Yeah,
great
Colton,
job.
Has done a great job for us. Started at one of our defensive end positions and just has consistency. I talked to the players about you want to build trust, then do that with consistency in your play. And Colton is definitely one of those guys that does that every day.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Coach, we'll take a moment now to, we only got we're kind of running low on time, unfortunately, due to some of the technical issues, so we apologize for that. But we looking ahead, Abilene Cooper this weekend here in San Angelo Stadium on Friday. But, the Cougars, 1-1 coming into the weekend, taking a victory in week one. I always butcher this. I believe
Azel.
Azel
Hornets.
Azel, there we go. Azel 49-25.
The green and white.
There you go. And then they just last week played Abilene High and had a tough one as well. Probably tougher of an assignment as y'all had them with 34-13 loss over there. But, hey, Coach, it's a new week, a new chance to get better, and a chance to be able to notch that first win. Talk to me about the Cougars. From looking at their stats on Max Preps, obviously I know you got to take it with a grain of salt, because anybody can really submit things in Max Preps. But it seems to be a heavy running game coming from that Cougar offense. Yeah,
they do a good job of balancing it up. I think they do a good job of taking what the defense gives them. Even in our offense, we call a lot more run plays than we actually, operate. Sometimes there's a pass option off of it, and that looks good, and we end up throwing it more depending on what the defense is giving us. But what I like about Cooper is that when you play a common opponent, we both played Abilene High right now, so you really do have something to kind of judge on. Sometimes if it's Azel or a team like that you're not as familiar with, or you don't know, is that a really good team? Are they not very good? And you can have your own opinions by watching the tape, but you can really narrow it down when you play a common opponent. And for them playing, and the margin of victory was about the same between the two games right there. So I think we got a good team that's coming into San Angelo here. They're well coached. They've got a really good quarterback who's back, and when you have a guy that's back in that position who can operate, then you're going to play well. So they got a good defense. We're going to see the same structure defensively for the third week in a row, an odd structure defense. It plays about the same type of coverage that we have. So that should be to our advantage. Now seeing that 3 weeks in a row.
So you'll be more accustomed to what is coming from that three-man front?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. We see a heavy dose of that early in the year, and then it starts to change a little bit when we get into league play. But it's been good. It's been good to see it and to be able to function, in it, see what do we like in this, what do we not like in this, and then be able to operate our offense, versus that. And
you mentioned, this third week in a row seeing that three-man, odd-man front.
Yep.
Now that you've seen it for 2 weeks now, you're going to see it for a third. Obviously, I know you don't want to give all your secrets away, but how are you telling your offense to attack it this week? Is there anything different that you're wanting to do now that you've seen it for 2 weeks, or what?
Yeah, I think you're constantly evolving with your offense. So, my philosophy has always been kind of in game planning to, just tear it down to the studs and rebuild. So, I never like coming in and doing the same thing. You saw a different version offensively of what we did last week than what we did in the first week. And so I think if you teach conceptually, which is what I like to do, if you teach concepts on offense, passing game concepts, run game concepts, you can get into those same concepts a variety of different ways. Most offensive football is a lot of window dressing. Let me run this same play, but I want to add this type of motion to it or get into this formation and do it. I think in offensive football, you think first players, you think second formations, and you think third plays. So who do you want to get the ball to? What matchup do we want to get the ball to them in? How can we formationally dictate that matchup, into a favorable position for us? And then last is the play. So sometimes we get, too cute a little bit offensively, and I like these plays that I see. Well, think about your players. Who do you want to get the ball to? And then how can you get them in a favorable matchup by formationally probing a team to find that matchup and then executing the play?
Well, you mentioned finding that favorable matchup. From the early look at film, who do you think may come out as to be that favorable matchup for the Bobcats this week?
Well, I think that you always, look, we've got a lot of, skilled players, on the perimeter for us. I think with our wideout group, our tight end group, and our running back group, they're all back from a year ago. So I think it's difficult for teams to match us up, personnel-wise. If they want to take this particular person away this week, well, then something is open over here for somebody else. So that's part of the cat and mouse game that you have as well. I feel like we have weapons all over the field that we can utilize. You want to sit back and the first several plays of a game are always scripted, So you script these plays. Okay, I want to get in these different looks. I want to do these particular motions. I want to have these particular shifts. I want to see how the defense aligns and moves in these different things. So then you make your notes. Okay, we did this. This is how they reacted to this. Then you know that you can come back later and have answers for what they did. So they're not going to do the same thing that we've seen on video for the first 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Probably not.
This is the nature of football. You can study all week long for the test, and then the questions are different on Friday night. They are for us as well. We provide different looks and different things for the people that play us, but it's the team that can kind of come up with those answers faster, and get their players in position to do that and execute on that level, usually win the game.
As far as the wideouts go, I mentioned that those knives are getting sharp. They got sharp Friday. Colton Hill, healthy, played well. Gavin Johnson, Baby G.
And the protection was good. I think it starts with protection. We do have really, really good skilled wideouts, but if you can't protect, it makes it difficult to be able to do that. We protected well. The offensive line did a great job to include the running backs in that, and the protection, and the tight ends, the moments that they were in there as well. So good job with pass pro. And then when you do a good job in pass pro, it's going to open up those windows to throw the ball.
The quarterback hasn't been running for his life every play.
No, that's you're going to have to do that from time to time. They're going to have some things dialed up and some things that happen. But for the most part, you want that guy to sit back there and have a nice clean pocket to be able to throw the ball to. And if we give him that and we got great skill out there at wide out, we'll put the ball on him and make plays.
I saw inside the 10 before the touchdown. He had time to look, point, think about it, throw it.
Yeah.
Had plenty of time.
And there's a lot that's processing that goes on in the mind of a quarterback from receiving the play call, from the sideline to communicating that in the huddle, checking the play clock, making sure we're aligned properly, sending a guy in motion a certain way, surveying the coverage in the front that you have out there to then know where I'm going to go with my progression to the ball. There's a lot happening, in that time span, and then the picture may change on you, and being able to make the right decision in that moment's a critical thing. And, Micah's done a really good job. Poise in there to process what he sees and to make good decisions. We talked about, offensive philosophy. That's been my thing with quarterbacks. Number one is decision-making. Number two is accuracy. Number three is athleticism. There's so many decisions that are made at that position. You got to have, the right person there to make those decisions.
For sure.
You ruined their homecoming last season, Cooper.
I know,
you're a former Cooper
Listen,
player.
that's what I said. All I do is win at homecoming, when I was at Cooper. We did when I was a player there, and
that's
we
like
certainly
Mason
did
Van
last
Sickle
week.
only catches touchdown passes
That's right.
on offense. One for a
I've
touchdown.
got, tremendous respect for the school and, for what it did for me growing up. I think we all have that feeling.
I would hope so with you being
Yeah, we all have those kind of feelings. I remember I grew up in the shadows of Shotwell Stadium right there. Would ride my bike up to the stadium, as a junior high kid and watch the game. And this school's a great school. They got great tradition, and they got a good team. So it'll be a good matchup here. And And I'm just trying to do my best to get our guys prepared the best way that they can be so we can go be successful Friday night.
And get on that winning side of things,
Yes.
get that head of steam going into another couple of weeks on the road after this one. So let's go get those Cooper Cougars and make it 2 in a row against your alma mater.
I'll take it.
All right.
Good call, Darren. Yeah.
Coach
Fantastic.
Smith, Chad, thank you guys. We appreciate it. This has been From Shenanigans, Bobcats Insider on Concho Sports Network. Chiefs Insider is up next. Stick around.
don't know how that goes.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, one and all, and welcome to Chiefs Insider live from Shenanigans. We hope you're having a fantastic Monday here on September 8th. Sorry for the little bit running behind, some technical issues prior to Bobcat Insider pushing us back a little bit, but nonetheless, we are here and we are on the air. On behalf of my partner Arthur Andrade, my name is Chad Miller, and joining us today, and with Coach Hector Guevara away, we do have outside linebacker coach Richard Rowitz, if I'm saying that correct.
Yes, sir, you got it.
Fantastic. Coach, I mean, first and foremost, tell us about yourself, where your background is, where you go to school, how long you've been with Lakeview, what do you do with the Chiefs, all that fun stuff.
Yes, sir, man. I'm from the area. I graduated from Paint Rock High School, attended Angelo State University.
Go Rams.
Go Rams, of course. My dad actually taught for San Angelo ISD, taught some Lakeview kids for about 25 years. He just retired a couple years ago, so it's kind of cool keeping a Rowitz in the district, and it's also kind of cool. Got to teach some of the same kids as him, and this is my 4th year at Lakeview. I've coached outside linebackers these 4 years, and I'm the head freshman coach this year.
Awesome, man.
So kind of evolving, kind of growing in myself as a coach. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm happy to be here.
I being head now, of course, I'm a little behind on the times, but I know whenever my grandfather coached high school way back in the 90s and whatnot, he also had to teach. So do you also teach classes as well?
Yes, sir.
Everybody
I
has
teach.
to teach.
Yeah, just making sure. I know some bigger programs, some coaches don't have to teach.
Maybe head coaches may not have to because they're the athletic director.
There you go.
Every employee maybe the trainers don't have to teach anymore.
Yeah.
In the old days, they used to have to teach.
There we go.
But those are really the only ones that will not teach a class.
Well, back on the topic, what do you teach?
I teach world geography and world history, the stereotypical social studies teacher and the coach. But I love it. I love what I teach. It's also a passion of mine. So, yeah, I enjoy it.
Hey, we love that. If you're loving what you're doing, man, you're not really working. You're just living life.
Absolutely.
We're going to get into highlights here in just a moment. But, I mean, obviously, Coach, you got your second monkey off your back, but you win over Snyder. That's the second win over a team you lost to by a score or less last year. Of course, there's 2 others down the line. Both of them are in district play. But, hey, man, just give me your overall thoughts just from the game against Snyder.
Man, we just executed. Offense moved the ball. Defensively, we came out swinging, and I believe it was 3 and outs the first half, maybe a fumble recovery. So the boys are just focused, man, and they're hungry, and it shows when they play. They execute, they do what they're coached to do, and it's all the credit to them.
Awesome. We're going to get into some highlights here in just a moment once Shay can be able to pull it up. Coach, if you see anything you want to be able to point out, describe more, please let us know. But starting with the opening kickoff here, just a solid return for the Chiefs. Obviously, we did face some technical issues on Friday night, so some of this may be a little bit buggy, but that's all right. We'll make it through.
It was only a couple minutes we had technical.
Man, I think the big key right now is this D-line.
Yeah, Connor Williams, man, that dude's a monster.
He came out of nowhere. I don't remember him last year. But
he was a sophomore last year on varsity. He had some growing to do, but this D-line's really getting after it.
We're calling his name almost every play.
It's absolutely insane. And we, of course, see a pass from Chris Alviso, which actually we'll get into him a little bit because you have a little more history with the Chiefs starting quarterback. You see interception. That's going to be the second turnover from the Chiefs as they forced a fumble earlier in the game with Esparza covering it. And then we just see a floater dropping in the bucket for Alviso. Touchdown for the Chiefs. Jump to an early 7-0 lead. Coach, as we see, here we go. He blocked punt. Looks like one of those little pooch ones they try to do. And didn't work out in their favor.
They tried to do.
There we go. We see how, there's dropping off to the screen. Isaiah Rios doing what he does best. Of course, my partner was on the call. I was not for this game as I had to attend some stuff with ASU. But going to the next play here, Alviso in the pistol, 4 wide receivers, the Chiefs' favorite formation, it seems, offensively. And you know what? Hey, just find your guy. It just seems they love to do it. And then we fast forward a little bit going into the red zone. And who else to be able to score for the Chiefs? Just constant firepower from this offense. Talk to me from a defensive perspective, knowing that you've had this offense that y'all do this year. So we saw it with Fort Stockton, be able to score 42 unanswered. To this week, be able to put up the points y'all are. How is it to be able to have that cushion as a defense, knowing that you can be able to work with that?
It really allows us to just go ball out on defense, man. And our boys are fresh. Our offense is, taking care of the ball, long drives. Our defense coming out fresh, and they're able to to execute every play because they're fresh, they're playing hard, and offense is taking care of it, and that takes a lot off of us too.
And speaking of defense, just a little awkward play for the Tigers. You are able to still limit the gain here. But, we got a little string of defensive highlights here. Trying to run, go crazy, but there's the Chiefs D-line just doing what they do best. Absolutely getting lit up there at the end.
And we're doing a lot of subbing, too, on the defensive front and the linebackers.
It's certainly helping.
I see that we have more people making plays even later on in the periods, the second, third periods. So I think our kids are fresh.
They're fresh. It's nice to have the depth on that D-line.
And that's something that we
keep these guys
have
going.
a hard time doing, having depth.
That last highlight was a 4th down sack, partially by Joshua Lemos. And here we go, back on offense. And we're going to see actually interesting formation there. The trips, tight trips there at the bottom of the slot. And then who else but Alviso hitting his favorite target, Braylon White, doing Braylon White things. Coach, I have to ask you, man. Obviously, you're on defense. You got to compete against these guys in practice every day. How is it having to guard Braylon White?
It's a task, man. It's a task. But he makes us better. And he plays a lot of defense himself. But when he's over there, we love having him scout for us because we know he's going to make the DBs better.
And then just a beautiful floater. Christian Esparza able to make this beautiful just catch. Alviso doing a great job dropping in the bucket. And then looks to be a 2-point attempt, I believe. And Alviso just dropping it in the bucket once again. DJ Munoz. It's just absolutely insanity. And wait, what happened here? Partner, what happened here?
They're trying to do another pooch punt, because they lined up in it. But I guess one of their guys didn't know they were going to do it. At 13 kind of just got in his way.
I mean, a play-action pooch punt. 13 takes a kick off the behind, and the Chiefs recover, and it gives us a short field. I mean, and then just to set this up, once again, DJ Munoz, second touchdown pass of the game, or touchdown catch, Alviso able to just toss all over it. And then, oh, my goodness, deep shot and a beautiful catch. Obviously, Coach, we knew when we talked about it last week with D-line coach Max Rivetto. Talk to me a little bit about what the game plan was against Snyder. Obviously, they had a massive passing attack with one of the receivers who had over 200 yards receiving in their Week 1 matchup, which was a tough loss. I believe it was the Pecos. What was that like for you having to prepare for Snyder defensively?
We knew we had to get a good pass rush, get that guy flustered in the pocket, and make those windows smaller. Force him to make a throw that maybe he didn't want to throw, and then keep it in front defensively. With our safeties and our corners, keep everything in front of us. We knew going into it that they liked the deep ball. We also knew going into it that if we got a good pass rush, we could force error throws. And I think our D-line really did a good job of that. And they had a couple good throws on us in that second half, and I think a lot of them are good coverage. It's just better throws sometimes.
And we'll definitely get to that second half. And for Braylon White, absolutely just looking like an absolute stud out there, knocking that pass away in the red zone. And then here we go for the next one. This will be the first touchdown for Snyder. This will be the first of, I believe.
Right before the half.
Right before the half. And then we jump ahead. Snyder gets another touchdown, but 28-14. And Alviso dump it off left side and just touchdown Isaiah Rios. It's absolutely phenomenal what Alviso is able to do with this offense. And here we go. We send out to the fourth quarter, so not a lot else going on in the third. And we see Snyder kind of start making things happen a little bit here and there. Quarterback scramble, able to get inside the red zone and push out of bounds there. So here we are, a Wildcat look, and just able to sneak right in. This play kind of looked a little broken from first glance. Was that something that y'all were maybe expecting to see in the goal line, maybe these little sweep type of action?
There was a little miscommunication there. Supposed to line up a little bit tighter with the outside backer. That didn't get communicated. So unfortunately it did cost us, but it's something we're fixing.
Gotcha. And then we send forward once again. The Chiefs in the red zone. Alviso, slant route, right side, touchdown. Braylon White.
Almost unstoppable.
He's very sure hands, of course. He's a safe target.
That guy is absolutely insanity. I believe I'm counting right. Alviso with 5 touchdown passes. And then we see Schumpert, if I'm saying his name correctly.
Caleb
Caleb Schumpert gets in the game and does one himself.
Schumpert's certainly a player as well, man. he's going to get his shots, and when he does, he's got a cannon and he's accurate. So
that's good.
It's nice to have the depth that Shumpert can go in and take care of business too. He's a heck of a player.
Yeah, and then that does sum it up. Snyder was able to get a late touchdown. Final score 49-28 in favor of the Chiefs. First time the Chiefs start 2-0 since 2022. And before that, I don't remember off the top of my head. I just went as far as I could find it first and foremost. But, I mean, Coach, just excellent job overall by the team as a whole. Obviously getting that second monkey off the back from the last year's losses. But we're going to go into a segment I like to call the good, the bad, and the ugly. Last week, I wrote a bunch of things for good, the bad, and the ugly. But I want to ask you from just your perspective from a coach. We'll start with the good. And, of course, I know you may be a little biased with your defensive side of the ball. But what do you think would be the good for your team overall from this matchup against the Tigers?
I think the good, I'll start with offense. They're moving the ball effectively, and they're executing. And that's, all you can hope for as an offensive coach is that the kids execute the things that you're doing. And we've seen that they kind of do the things. They're setting it up well with the run, able to hit the deep ball, and it's really all you can ask for. They're just executing super well.
And then, and then defensive side, you covered the offense. You covered, for the defense?
Oh, for the defense, man, it's just a hunger. I mean, our kids, you could tell they want to get after it, and it's really nice to have the depth to keep kids fresh because we could sub kids in and out and still have our main guys in when we need them. I think the real good is that the defensive line's getting after it. Linebackers are fitting and filling super well. DBs are pretty sure most of the time, and I think it's just good. Overall, the defense has been pretty sound.
And then we'll get into the bad, but just a moment. Of course, we were talking prior to the show, you being the outside linebackers coach, which means you get the responsibility of having Chris Alviso, the Chiefs starting quarterback, play in the I believe he's playing the Will spot for the Chiefs. It might be the Sam spot.
We call it the Sam, yes,
Sam
sir.
spot, yes, sir. I get him flipped up all the time. But you haven't played in the Sam spot, so what is it like having to, hey, Coach, congratulations, you get arguably one of our best players, but he's also the star quarterback. You can't get him hurt. Make it happen.
So we can use him, in smart situations. He's a great pass coverage guy, so we know if it's a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 that, he's a good guy to have in there at that time. But I'm also lucky to have guys that, can play too, so we don't have to use him. I've got Oscar Ramos. This is his first year on varsity, but he's learning, but he's playing pretty well, and that's good to have somebody reliable, right? He's still learning, but I could see that he's improving, and it's nice to have him.
I have a question for you, Coach. If we're playing against like a heavy run team, to have a power running game, and of course the Sam linebacker is an integral part of your defense, especially on the strong side. How do you feel about using Alviso as the filler there in that linebacker area? I mean,
he can certainly.
I'm sure you have a lot of courage in him in using him. Just because all the things that you've seen him do in practice.
He can certainly do it. We played Andrews last year. He played a lot of minutes there.
That's what I was alluding. I was thinking of Andrews. Heavy run team.
He can do it. I mean, he's an athlete. He doesn't back down from a challenge either.
And he's good size. I didn't realize he was 6'1".
He's strong. He worked hard in the weight room, over the spring and over the summer. So I have a lot of faith in him and his ability to do it. But thankfully, like I said, I've got some other guys that can, that can play and take care of the position as well.
And to me, that's very noticeable because in the past, we didn't have that depth. But this year, you guys are running people out, defensive line coming in and out. Linebackers.
Yeah, we saw it against Fort Stockton. He probably saw it against Snyder. We saw y'all sub entire D lines out there, knowing that you have the depth like that is absolutely tremendous.
And they played well as well, So, I mean, that's a blessing to have.
It is certainly a luxury, to be able to sub in, 4D linemen and know that they could still take care of them. It's something we have been developing over the last couple of years, and we're seeing it come together really well.
Awesome. Now we will go into maybe the bad. Obviously, wasn't a shutout. I'm sure there are probably some things you want to work on. So what would you say? Obviously, you may not want to call it bad, but maybe things you'll want to improve on from this week going into next week's, which of course we'll talk about Lameisa here in a little bit.
Defensively, we got to tackle better. A few too many missed tackles, and we're okay with. But we've been working on it this week. We're confident that it's going to improve this coming week. So that's definitely the bad. We can't miss tackles. But it's improving, It's improving. So I'd say that's the bad for sure.
Fantastic. And then obviously the ugly, I kind of tosses in because with week 1's matchup with Fort Stockton, there was 3 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties against the Chiefs. So if there really was anything ugly, you can let me know, but I didn't really see anything from what I was doing my research and going through the highlights of what may be considered ugly for the Chiefs. Obviously a win's a win. You know, players stepped up. Avisa threw 5 touchdown passes. Shumpert's, if I'm saying that correctly,
yes, sir.
Shumpert's tossed one of his own. I mean, it seems to be very effective. And like I said, got the win at the end of the day, so I'm not sure there's really much ugly to go about it.
To me, I thought Snyder had a tough time with a lot of penalties. You know, we had a couple, but I don't think they were like the first week when we had, you know, those personal foul calls. It seemed like Snyder was a little bit unnerved, you know. But other than that, I do want to say I loved how at the end of the game you guys kind of went to the middle, and they, you know, they were looked dejected. I mean, Snyder looked, you know, like they didn't know what to do. But you guys went over there and asked them to pray. That's what it seemed like to me. And then they followed y'all to the middle and y'all prayed. And I thought that was awesome.
Yes.
You know, so I don't know if that was intentional or maybe spur of the moment, but I thought that was something. You know, me and the gentleman commentating the game Friday night, we thought, man, that's pretty darn awesome.
Man, our kids have good hearts. I credit that to them. I'm also in charge of the film, so after the games, I've seen y'all up there a couple times. I go up there and get the cameras, and so I'm not often down there for that because I hustle up to the press box to grab the cameras. But our kids have good hearts, you know, and I believe that's genuine. I don't know if it was planned or not, but credit the kids for that.
Well, I know I saw it and I recognized it. I'm thinking that's pretty darn good, and Snyder may have been reluctant at first, but then they all went out there, and then it seemed like any animosity was diffused, and you know, some of them shook hands, and you know, bumped each other with their fist or things like that. You know, and I thought that's a great sportsmanship.
I mean, yes, sir. We have great kids, and I think we understand that it's a game. Obviously, we want to go win, we want to compete, but at the end of the day, you know, we're all just people playing football.
Yes, sir. Yes,
you
sir.
know, I credit our kids for that.
All right, these are just young men move on to bigger and better things in life at the end of the day. So, Coach, we'll actually now jump into next week, this Friday. Back on the road, taking on the Lameisa.
Golden Tornadoes.
I call them Lameisa, but I get corrected all the time. I know my director Shay Harris over there is giving me a look, but Lameisa. It's kind of funny though. On Dave Campbell's, they're listed as just the Tornadoes, but I've seen them as the Golden Tornadoes.
They've been the Golden Tornadoes ever since I was in high school back in '82.
I've always known them as the Golden Tornadoes.
There we go. The Golden Tornadoes of Lameisa. There we go. So looking at them a little bit, they were picked to win District 2 3A Division 1. Similar to Lakeview, they are also in a 14 district, so everybody kind of makes the playoffs a little bit. But they're kind of having a rough start to their season. Start off with all 3 home games, including this week. But unfortunately, dropped a couple tough ones. A 2-point loss to Littlefield week 1, and then if I'm doing my math correctly out the fly, an 8-point loss to Muleshoe last week. They do have, according to Dave Campbell, the preseason offensive MVP and wide receiver Silas McCurley, who last year had over 1,300 yards and 27 touchdowns. This year's off to a hot start. He does have 4 touchdowns already. He only averages about 100 yards receiving, which obviously I say just, but that's definitely a lot. You know, first and foremost, Coach, what do you think of Lameisa early on and just the early film watching? What do you see in terms of the defensive side of the ball? What do you think they'll throw at y'all more? What do you expect from this matchup?
I mean, they have a good downhill running game, and they have a very accurate, very strong arm quarterback. So they have a pretty dynamic offense. They've got a good scheme going on over there. Certainly something we're preparing for, but that's what we're noticing right away. You know, good downhill running game, and they do run the air raid, so they like to throw the ball downfield, so we're preparing for that as well.
Fantastic. You know, it's kind of interesting because last year, going into this matchup, both teams were 0-2. Obviously, y'all just come off a couple heartbreakers with Fort Stockton and Snyder last year. They had a couple tough matchups, but this is where the Chiefs got their first win of the season last year. So what do y'all have to do better as a whole, maybe on defense, maybe as a team as a whole, to be able to avoid a potential trap game here with the Golden Tornadoes, to not give them their first win of the season as they did with y'all last year?
Yes, sir. We got to keep doing the good things well. Keep getting the D-line after them, keep having good linebacker play. But the big thing this week is going to be limit the big plays. Keep it in front, limit the big mistakes on defense because, we play really well and then we make a big mistake and that usually costs us. The real key here is going to be, limiting the big plays and limiting the mistakes on defense.
Fantastic. Partner, if you have anything else for Coach, man, I think.
To add on to that, I think you guys have been doing that. You guys have been limiting big plays. That happens every now and then. Everyone's going to, both teams we played, they have some good receivers.
Mm-hmm.
They have some excellent receivers. Quarterbacks were decent as well. So, you're going to give up some yards here and there. Like you said, if you can just limit it, and when they do break it, we make the tackle and make them have to put 4 or 5 first downs together. That's one thing that we've had success on. The other teams, have not been able to drive us, all the way through. Except, whenever last week when they got the opening kicking off in the second half and drove on us. But after that, for about the quarter and a half, they didn't do anything. They were making turnovers. How many turnovers did they have?
I want to
4
say
or 5?
I want to say we had 4.
Okay. Or they had 4, or y'all.
Or I want to say that our defense recovered 4 turnovers.
Yeah, and I know you had a fumble recovery, an interception. You had a couple blocks. I'm not sure if that technically counts, even though they were trying to give you the ball back. That might be the 4. Honestly, you get a couple fumble recoveries off the blocked or
the pooch
botched
punts that they were
punts.
trying,
I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
Going on throughout it. But all right, well, Coach, we appreciate your time. You've been a fantastic conversation for us. But when we return, we will have a couple players from the Chiefs up here to talk about just being student athletes and what it means to be able to take on the Gorham Tornadoes on Friday. You're watching Chiefs Insider live from Shenanigans. We'll be back right after this.
Check out why First Community Federal Credit Union is the #1 local auto lender in the Concho Valley.
With great low rates on new, used, and refinance autos, we can save you money. First Community has great payment options and low prices for GAP, extended warranty, and credit life insurance, so we can make your payment fit your budget. So be smart, bank smart, and contact First Community for your auto financing needs.
Pain is never planned, and recovery time is never convenient. But the last thing you want to do is wait for answers. At Angelo MRI, you are more than a number. We can get you results within 24 hours at a price you can afford. So when you need to get back into the game fast, tell your doctor you want to go to Angelo MRI. We hope you don't need us this season. But in case you do, remember, it's your health, your choice, your MRI.
At Schertz Landscape, we care about the quality of trees that you put in your landscape. Therefore, we grow our trees here locally in the Concho Valley. As a certified arborist, I not only care about the quality of your tree being planted, but I am also qualified as a tree risk assessor. I can evaluate the health of an older tree or the risk that it may have to you and your property. Come see us at Schertz Landscape, where we care about the quality of your trees.
Friendship being
San Angelo, it's time to invest in your home and protect your future. Olivas Restoration and Solar, your trusted partner in roofing, solar, insulation, and fencing. Call Olivas Restoration and Solar today for your free consultation.
At Texas Bank, we believe in the power.
Welcome back, everybody, to Chiefs Insider here live from Shenanigans. I'm joined here by a couple of guys who I had the pleasure of calling their names for last year, at least one of them for sure, with Christian Esparza and Nick Leyva, 2 seniors, 2 starting wide receivers, and Christian having a tough task of having to start on both sides of the ball while Nick gets rotating time at safety. Guys, first and foremost, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Sir, of course.
So we'll jump right into it, obviously, as a lot of the family and the people back at home want to hear. Y'all are all student athletes, means y'all are students first. So, I mean, hey, we're a few weeks into the school year. How are classes going?
They're going pretty good. I mean, it's a lot easier now because, like, we're seniors and everything's pretty chill. You know, last year we were juniors. Everything was, like, had a lot of work to do.
Trying to get ready for the next step in life.
Yeah, now it's pretty chill.
I mean, yeah, they're easy. It's not really a lot to do.
I know, because some of y'all's people before y'all, I had Chris, I had Misael, and then I had Isaac, all were telling me they're taking AP classes. Are y'all in that same boat?
Yeah, I got one class, government.
Okay, hey, that's always a fun time.
Yes,
My
sir.
government teachers were always pretty fun back when I was in high school. You know, and mentioned earlier, you're both seniors. You know, so like, what is obviously I understand you're still in school. You're trying to enjoy your last senior year. You still got a lot of football to play. You know, what if you had to pick right now, what do you think is that next step for y'all? Y'all want to go to school? Do y'all have ambitions to want to play at the next level? What's that thought process for y'all?
Well, I'm thinking about going to a trade school.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting a trade, like welding or anything like that.
Hey, the world needs more welders, man. The world's still building. You know, anything that can help out.
Yeah, I definitely want to go to college after high school and study something in healthcare.
Healthcare. Do you have any ideas of maybe? Well, first off, maybe like where you want to go to school. Have you researched anything yet? Have you looked around, applied at all?
Honestly, not really.
Not really?
I haven't really looked into all that, but I need to definitely look into it.
You mentioned healthcare. I mean, is there a certain maybe specific field of healthcare?
Like I would say like some like surgical tech or like X-ray tech.
Okay.
Like, stuff like that.
Hey, I mean, the hospitals always need hands, man. And y'all both have some pretty solid ideas ahead of you. Obviously, the world keeps building. People keep getting sick. So obviously, like it's y'all definitely need it out in the world today. Well, now students out of the way. Let's talk some football, right? Obviously, guys, starting the season 2-0, which is a massive change compared to last season where you're starting 0-2 up to this point. First time being 2-0 since 2022, so I know it's been a little bit. I think you're both freshmen or sophomores at the time of that. If I did the math correctly, freshmen. So it's a freshman team admissions there. But, hey, talk to me about what the season's been like for y'all individually and what you're seeing with the team up to this point of the season.
It's been going good, like practices, like we push each other, like we try to make each other better, do good for the team, and like give each other good looks, and we just want nothing better for the team and just have a successful year this year.
I mean, yeah, we've just been working at getting each other better. We've been keeping each other up, not putting each other down. I mean, it's just been fun.
And then y'all both, of course, mentioned earlier, starting receivers. According to the depth chart, Christian starting wide receiver, which is traditionally in the slot for those of you that don't know. And then Nick, a starting X wide receiver, which is usually lined up on the outside of the numbers. So talk to me, first and foremost, what's it like playing these spots for the Chiefs? And then secondly, talk to me about what it's like having Chris as a quarterback.
I mean, it's a privilege to play, to start. And Chris, I mean, he's my best friend. He's probably one of the better quarterbacks that I've played before. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Chris and all of the wide receivers, I feel like we all have a good connection with Chris. We were all with him last year, so we got like a good connection, a good bond. So I'm definitely going to miss him next year. Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned about next year, and I talked about it with the coach. I didn't talk about it with Coach Rolwitz, but I talked about it with Coach Rivero and then with Coach Guevara. Y'all have 70% of y'all's roster returning this year. Everybody but one player in your roster is a junior or a senior, and that one guy is your starting center who's a sophomore. Like, talk to me about what it. Now, of course, this may be traditional for high schools, but hey, it's for the Chiefs specifically. I'm enjoying it. But talk to me about what it means to be able to have this just the same group of guys growing together, especially after the year y'all had last year and then just a start you're having this year.
It's definitely good because, like, we know we all have a good bond together. Like, we already played last year together. And I just feel we have a good connection. You really can't be, like, a team that has a good connection with each other.
Same with you?
Yes, sir.
Now, talk to me about this. I told you already before the segment that I wasn't going to ask about it, but I'm going to ask about it because, I mean, everybody from Isaac, Misael, and Chris have all mentioned it. Talk to me about swag surfing. The team song y'all have adopted. How did this happen? Where does this? Do y'all play this in the locker room? Is this a weight room song? What's going on with swag surfing here? How did this become a thing for the Chiefs?
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know where the song came from, but like I would always hear it, like in the weight room, locker room, after games. You know, like after games we would always play it, and you know, like we would all be dancing to it. Even Coach Guevara, we would be having a good time after the games.
Goodness, why don't you read that? You see that? See what I said highlighted? Tell me what year that is.
2009.
That's when this song came out. This song is almost as old as y'all are.
Yeah.
It's so like, that's what made it so weird to me whenever Isaac mentioned it and then Chris mentioned it the next week. Like, I know it's kind of become a West Texas thing. I think Texas Tech's real big with it, but like, it just seems so random out of left field for me. Of course, I know I joke that I'm old, but I'm not that much older. But still, like, it's crazy that a song that came out when I was 8 is like a popular song for a high school team right now. It's really weird to me altogether. But, you know, now that we got past swag surfing, now I get to ask a question that pulled the same swag surfing answer from my previous guest. What is a song, not swag surfing, or an artist that y'all like to listen to whenever either pregame, weight room, you know, what's that song that gets you going? Whether, you know, like I said, not swag surfing, we're going to avoid swag surfing because I know it's going to be this week, next week, the week after, everybody's going to say swag surfing. But let's hear some of those. Let's get some variety here.
Honestly, during pregame, I like to be calm, and so I listen to Superpowers by Daniel Caesar.
Okay.
I like to listen to some Deftones.
Okay.
Some like changes and like Cherry Waves by him. I just feel like it gets me locked in and relaxed.
And I like the vibes. It's just like overall, and it's always fun. I always like asking the question because I got to give people an insight as to what kind of player you are. Because obviously, yeah, a lot of stereotypical things. You know, some of the heavy beats, heavy bass. For me, you know, it's more like heavier rock. You know, but people have all this stuff, and then you get that one guy who listens like Beethoven or something. it's like the classical music just to stay calm so they don't get too amped up. But you know, I like the mix of things. You know, I always like asking a question to the student athletes because everybody's different. Everybody has different tastes, and also allows me to expand my playlist in the future whenever I go to the weight room because I need it. I am way so far behind; it's absolutely ridiculous. But you know what? Let's now look a little bit ahead to this week. Obviously, as I've been correctly told, and I just forgot about it. Lameisa. I butchered this so many times, and I talked to you prior. My debut on just broadcasting in general was Lakeview at Lameisa on the radio for Foster Communications, and I kept saying Lameisa, and I got hounded so much, and I just kind of said it as more of a joke of anything else. But anyway, Lameisa, the Golden Tornadoes. I was talking to Coach about it last segment. You know, last year, this was y'all's first win last year. But that last year y'all were both 0-2. This year they're 0-2. Y'all are 2-0. You know first off, what do y'all see from early tape? What coaches were telling y'all leading up to this matchup with the Golden Tornadoes?
We've seen on film on scouting report, and coaches have told us that they have a little bit of speed, but you know we have that too. So it's gonna be an even matchup. So we just gotta put like more speed out there. And that's what we did at practice today, working on our new defense of look against them, and I think it'll go pretty good.
Same thing, you know what you're saying? So, you know, what do you think y'all have to do to be able to, you know, avoid a potential trap here? I'm sure y'all know what a trap game is. For those that don't know, trap games kind of seem like, oh, we can overlook this because they're not as good as us if we're going to next week. What do you got to do to just avoid that trap of maybe from potentially suffering your first loss of the season here?
And just staying humble throughout practice, throughout the week, not getting over our heads, just not taking anybody easy.
And now let's talk about maybe your little individual assignments. Obviously, I already mentioned starting wide receivers here. They get to get all the attention on offense that we love to give the offense attention. They're scoring a lot right now. Braylon White, Isaiah Rios included, and a whole bunch of other guys that just rotate and just keep scoring for the Chiefs here. But on defense, obviously, starting you rotate a free safety, you're starting strong safety. What is it on defense? We talked about it with Coach. They have an amazing wide receiver who's averaged over 100 yards receiving. That's 4 touchdowns already. And from what Coach tells us, a quarterback that can sling it. So what do y'all got to do on defense to be able to, limit what the Golden Tornadoes do against y'all?
We just gotta stay in coverage. You never know. Like he could scramble and get a ball off, and we could be already going down. But we just gotta make sure we stay in coverage and stay in coverage really.
Same thing to say. And see, that's what I get, guys. I get 2 receivers, 2 safeties. They're gonna have very similar answers, and that's okay though. That's okay because these great spoken young men here. Fantastic. Well, I mean that's really about covering. Your coach did a great job talking to us about Lameisa a little bit more. So just a couple more questions before we let you go for the evening. First and foremost, this one I literally just thought of, but earlier part of the show that I want to ask our student athletes starting now. What do you think, if you had to pick a memory from your playing days, whether that's here at Lakeview, maybe something y'all keep bragging about when y'all were kids, whatever, what do you think is y'all's greatest sports memory, whether it's football or maybe a different sport? What would you say is if you had to give a highlight reel to somebody, like, hey, I was legit back in Little League, what would you pick? I know I'm putting you on the spot, so. While y'all think about it, don't forget, guys, Chiefs are playing. They're on the road, so we'll be broadcasting from the studio on Friday. Of course, they'll be at Lameisa. We'll be in the studio here in town. So, we will definitely be giving you all the coverage on YouTube and everywhere you can find Concho Sports Network. So please tune in. And also Thursday, Concho Sports Insider. We'll be picking up all the games in the area, all of our local teams we cover, Wall, Central, Lakeview, and a few others. So tune in. It'll be 7 o'clock on Thursday, and then kickoff will be 7 o'clock on Friday.
I think I would pick when I played flag, I was a quarterback. And I was good. Man.
You good? You was fast. You know, outrun everybody. Move those hips a little bit here to get out of the way. Do some trick moves.
Me, it'll probably be like last year, whenever we won our first game. Like it was just like we were just having like a blast in the locker room after the win. We were blasting music, swag surfer. So it was.
Also, swag surfer's been a thing for a while now. It's not just this year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, to my next one, and we're gonna kind of get a little bit deeper when it comes to emotionally when it comes to these things, because I know some people I've gotten some student athletes kind of get a little emotional when they talk about these next answers to the next two things. When you leave Lakeview, when it's time for you to hang up your cleats, whether that's this season or if you'll play sport in the spring, whatever, whenever your last day as a Chief athlete is done, how do you want people to leave to know your legacy as? What do you want to be leaving as?
I want to be known as like a hard worker and like very coachable, and he does as he's told and just works hard with everything he does.
You can't say same.
I know.
You think this is tough? I got a tougher one here, or maybe not as tough, but it does get a little more tough for people to answer just because they want to be able to get the right words out. But
I think I just want to be known as someone that's like likable, nice, and just coachable, being able to do whatever, and basically it.
Awesome. Hey, I mean, so far, obviously, for at least for this year has anything to say, y'all definitely done that so far. Obviously, it helps with the wins, but we keep calling those names all over the place, both offense and defense, being able to do things left and right. But my last question, I do lead this question towards the end for every student athlete I interview, just because I know it hits home for some. Who is y'all's biggest inspiration and why? Whether that's maybe family, an athlete, famous athlete, whoever that may be. Who is your biggest inspiration? I'm going to start with you, Nick, because Christian's been able to start a lot of these.
I think it's my mom, because she always inspires me never to give up. She always keeps me going. never tells me that I'm doing something bad.
Probably, honestly, I have to do the same. You know, my dad too. You know, like every time I mess up on something, they always tell me to keep my head up and just keep going and forget about it and just move on and keep your head up.
Well, I'm sure your parents are very proud of you. I did see somebody was sitting up here, maybe it was one of those parents with their camera out getting pictures. I'm not too sure who, but somebody was. But nonetheless, gentlemen, I appreciate y'all being here today. Once again, Christian Esparza, Nick Leyva. You can see them on the field on Friday night, in case you don't know, 15 and don't tell me. I lost your name. Where'd it go? Oh, 3. There we go. I was like, I lost your number. Oh, I forget. On here, you're listed as Nicholas, but I know you go by Nick, so it makes sense. Either way, you can see these gentlemen on the field on Friday night when the Chiefs take on Lameisa. They'll be over on the road, but we will still be giving you a coverage from here in San Angelo. But on behalf of my partner, Arthur Andrade, my director and producer, Shay Harris, as always, take care of each other and yourselves. My name is Chad Miller. Thank y'all, and have a fantastic evening. You're watching Chief Insider.